everybody. Welcome to another edition of 310 to Left, presented by your New England Ford dealers and F-Series, America's best-selling truck for 48 years, and the official truck of the Boston Red Sox. Tom Caron, joined by J.P. Ricciardi for this episode. J.P., how you doing?
I'm great, Tom. How about you?
Doing great, thanks. Let's start where congratulations are due. You were inducted into the WooSox Hall of Fame last week. Looked like an amazing ceremony. Congratulations. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Tom. I really appreciate it. They just wanted to recognize me for 45 years in baseball and opening up some doors for some Central Mass people. So it was a really nice night.
You know, I know you're not the kind of guy who's going to talk about your career, but I think it's so cool that you've always represented Central Mass. Like, you've always kept that close to your heart. I mean, God, when you were the A's for a while, you were still coming back to coach back in when you were coaching basketball, right? You were coming back to coach. Yeah. So just talk a little bit about that, because sometimes, you know, I've always been like that with Maine a little bit, right? Like, you kind of keep who you are and where you're from with you, but you've always carried Central Mass with you no matter what you've done in this career, haven't you?
I've always thought that, you know, Massachusetts kids got a little shortchanged sometimes, and tried to be the advocate for them. I was lucky enough to sign two Worcester kids who played in the big leagues, Tanya Sturts a long time, and Timmy Collins, all 5'4" of them, and pitched 6 years in the big leagues and pitched on a World Series team. And when we signed them, we sent them down to Florida, and I got a call from the people down there, and they said, "Hey, there's some guy here. He's got to be the bat boy, but he's there's no way this guy is a baseball player." I said, No, we just signed him. Let him come in. But we always tried to, you know, look out for the Central Mass kids, whether it was, you know, giving them an opportunity to play professionally or open up doors. You know, Brian Abraham is now running player development with the Red Sox. There's so many other guys that have gotten into scouting and player development. And for me, it's always been about giving back, just like I know it is for you. So, you know, one of the good things about having an opportunity to have some success in life is if you can't share it with other people. And, you know, I've always thought the New England kid, and especially the Massachusetts kid, could use every break they can get.
And one of the great things about the WooSox, right, when the Paw Sox moved to Worcester, first of all, you can drive through Kelly Square now without scratching your head and blaring the horn and screaming. But besides that, you know, it really has sort of cemented Central Mass's and Worcester's place. And it's always been a great baseball area. I don't think enough people understood that. The WooSox has done a great job of bringing that back to life.
Yeah, when Larry Lucchino called me and asked me how I thought it would do in Worcester, I said, "Larry, you have no idea the passion that there is in Central Mass and the great players that have come out of here, not only minor league players, but major league players in the history from Central Mass." So it has definitely revitalized the city in a lot of ways. Dr. Charles has done an amazing job of carrying the torch. They've got so many good people. Bill Wanless, you know, came all the way over from Pawtucket, has been either with Pawtucket or Worcester for close to 40 years, I believe it is. And they just run a first-class organization. They recognize the area. It's a great ballpark. It's just been a win-win on so many fronts, and it's been fun to see it and be a part of it.
Jared Duran was honored, which is pretty cool, right? Janet Marie Smith, who designed that ballpark with Larry, right? And if you haven't been out to Polar Park, I feel most people have by now. But they really did such a great job, just like they did revitalizing Fenway Park. Like, they built that thing at major league specifications. It's a great place. You mentioned Dr. Charles. They do a great job with these ceremonies. It's really a major league experience in Worcester.
You know, it's amazing because they have their own production room there. And if you go and I've been fortunate enough to do a lot of the games, the broadcasters that are there are outstanding. I mean, Tyler Murray's now the radio voice of the Knicks. Cooper Boardman's got a big job coming up. And they've got a lot of good people that are on there. Bill Wanless he's like the kingmaker. It's a really first-class presentation, the way they present the games, the atmosphere at the ballpark. I've been in a lot of big league parks, and I've been in a lot of watch a lot of big league games and stuff. I would put them up there right at the top with how some of the big league people do things.
I make a joke here about you spent a lot of time in Oakland, but I won't go there. We'll take a look at that. And I want to dig into, you saw Payton Tolle, David Sandlin. You watch these guys close, and we'll do that in a little bit. But let's start with the password, because we've got our first look at him. And as you and I talk, you know, still looking for his first hit, getting a taste of it all. But you could see him, like, he's not overwhelmed. Like, none of this is too much for him. And you've been watching this guy more than anybody. Tell us, what do you project him? Like, what does he grade out as a major leaguer? We've seen him tear up the minors. What's going to be that final sort of piece for Garcia to really become a regular major league hitter?
I think the big challenge for him is going to be his chase rate. He likes to chase a little bit. He'll get a little anxious at the plate. But also a byproduct of that chase is he has some power. And I think he's going to be a guy with 20 to 25 home runs if he plays every day in a lineup. And look, it might not be in Boston. I hope it is because I think he's going to be an exciting player. But he might be a chip that they move. Very good approach with 2 strikes. He's really done a good job of shortening up his swing, hitting the ball to the right side. But I think you're going to get a guy that in today's game is a 250, 260 hitter with 20 to 25 home runs who could play left, center, and right. And be a really nice guy to balance out a left-handed lineup as a right-handed hitter. It's going to be a good play. You're just going to have to go through some of the growing pains early.
Tell you what, you do that, you're going to make a lot of money in this business, right? I mean, that's a 25 home runs, 250, 260. And it was interesting, right? Alex Cora, in his major league debut, had him in the 5-hole. I mean, this isn't easing the guy in, right? They look at him as a middle-of-the-lineup type guy. Here's the question, though, JP. Can he play first base? Could this guy become a first baseman if you keep all your outfielders in place?
Just a little bit I saw him moving over there. He looks like he's athletic enough to go over there, but I would put that on the back burner for the Winter League and maybe obviously early spring training. I wouldn't want to see him get pushed in the playoff race right now and have to make some tough decisions because a lot happens over there fast. But if he can go over there and do that, you got another right-handed bat with power. So I would like to see the Red Sox find a way to keep this guy and be able to plug him in next year.
It's interesting, right? They go get Nathaniel Lowe, and it seems to be a really good fit, right? He's a guy, and you don't usually get in this day and age a guy like that in August, but it didn't work out with the Nationals. Maybe it was just the system there. Maybe it was just the lack of meaningful games for him, right? But this is a guy who was an important part of a World Series team just a couple of years ago. And now you plop him into this for a playoff race, and you started for all the talk about Garcia and Campbell and Grissom and all these guys have been playing first base. All of a sudden, you go get a guy who's a good major league first baseman and can add a lot. Like, this kind of settles that question, at least for the rest of this year, doesn't it?
Been a great pickup. I mean, great move by the Red Sox. A veteran hitter, and he looks like he's rejuvenated. He looks like he's gotten the elixir. And the pennant race can do that for you. And he's had some really good at-bats for him. Don't forget, I think this guy hit 19 home runs last year. He's always been a guy who's hit for power, and now he's probably in a situation where he doesn't have to be so much in a lineup. He could just ease himself in. And I think the thing about him that's real exciting is the way Cora's lineup is and how flexible it is and how he can even pinch hit for guys. This is a great bat to have coming off the bench. And, the other team has to know if that guy's not in the lineup that he's sitting there. So that's going to change the way they use their bullpen late in the game. But I thought it was a great pickup. And, this is like the old school waiver claims in August that ended up helping teams, get through the playoffs and into the World Series.
Yeah, you don't get those anymore, right? Because there's no more waiver claims. Right. So it's very rare for this to pass, a guy to pass through, right? To get the F8 and then to pass through when you got a shot at him. I think he had 3 hits over the weekend in New York in games in which he didn't start, right? Coming in as a pinch hitter, staying in the game. So a huge bat off the bench. I'm not sure it does anything about settling first base for next year because the guy's going to be owed a lot of money. I'm not sure you're going to keep him around. You got Casas coming back. It's still going to be a question that we're talking a lot about this winter, the first base situation. Don't you think?
I believe so. But if you look at their lineup, they score runs. So if that's the worst problem they have is figuring out first base, I think they've got some in-house platoon-type situations that they can do it. If they really want to make a stamp and do something about it, they have the resources to go out and trade some guys. I would just hate to see them lose some of the young guys that I really like that I think could be a really big part of the Red Sox future.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, come back, talk pitching. I'm with J.P. Ricciardi, Tom Caron with you, 3:10 to left, presented by your New England Ford dealer. Stay with us. Back here on 3:10 to left, Tom Caron along with J.P. Ricciardi. J.P., you got to see Payton Tolle in a good one the other day. This guy's fun to watch. He lets his personality flare. I love that his final strikeout came on the batter violation, and he gave it the full woo. It came off the mound. I got to talk to him a little bit in spring training. He was part of that breakout game they did against the Tampa Bay Rays. Really interesting guy. This guy's only a year out of college. That's a live arm, isn't it?
This is a nice problem to have. I mean, this is a really, really good arm. Physically, presence-wise, he reminds me of David Wells. He's got that big chest, that big body. When you first look at him and you see him run out to the mound, you kind of like, is he athletic? He's more athletic than he looks. He bounces around the mound pretty good, which leads you to believe he's going to field his position. Love the fastball. There's a lot of guys in our game right now that the fastball is 97, 98, but it gets turned around. This guy's fastball plays. It's 95 to 98. It's a little bit of a lower three-quarter delivery, so it's almost like a riding fastball that gets on hitters real quick. He can go in and out in the zone with it. He commands it really well. He's got enough of a slider. He's got a real good changeup. The only negative I saw on him, and this is a scouting standpoint, he's got to stay directionally in line more often, and when he does, he is lights out pounding the strike zone. Right now, this is a great problem to have.
It's elite extension, right? I mean, they already said it'd be like 99th percentile extension in the major leagues right now. So that 95 to 98 you're talking about looks about 105 coming in on the hitter, right? It pops right on him. But you bring up a great point about the directional, right? This is a guy he's still kind of working on that three-quarter arm slot. He was a two-way player until the very end at TCU. Like, this is still a guy who needs reps on the mound. Could you throw him in there in the final month of the season at the major league level? Is he ready?
Unless they have concern about his load, so to speak, there's no reason why this is the best option they have to go to the big leagues and help them right now. He's not going to be fazed by it. Think about two-way guys. Tim Hudson, we had Tim Hudson in Oakland. He was a two-way guy. Those guys are pretty athletic. They adapt really well. I think from a mental standpoint, this kid is above, what maybe the younger kids are. I don't think he's going to be fazed by the big leagues. And he's got enough stuff to throw through some mistakes. So if you're looking for a starter to put there in September, I would have no problem running this guy out there. Plus, you can protect him. Try to get 4, try to get 5. But I think he's going to be a little bit more in the driver's seat than most guys because he's not a very comfortable at bat.
So you say starter, and I'm glad you did because we'll talk about David Sandlin in a minute. We've seen guys not necessarily jump right into the bullpen with ease, right? If you're going to bring Tolle up to the major leagues, is it got to be as a starter at this point? Would you be a little hesitant throwing him in the bullpen?
Let him start. He's got that. You've only got so many games left. Why try to experiment at the big league level with something this kid hasn't done? He started. He knows he's coming to the ballpark. He's starting. He knows the night before he's starting. He goes down to the bullpen. He goes through his routine. I would not take this kid out of his routine and then ride him. If he gives you 5 innings, if he gives you 6 innings, you just ride it. If he doesn't, you can always back him off. But to change his routine right now, I think would not be helpful to him.
It's incredible, isn't it? I mean, a guy made 11 single-A starts. I think he made 6 in Portland at the double-A level. He's that good an arm. We haven't seen that kind of, we go back to Craig Hansen. We start talking about a guy who shot up, right, in a year. I mean, it's pretty rare for a pitcher, essentially within 12 months, if not at the major league level already, he's knocking on the door. He's put himself in a position. That's extremely rare. Like, you've got to have a special arm for that.
Well, if you think about it, Tom, most guys, college advanced players, are getting to the big leagues quicker now. The Angels have brought a lot of guys up. This guy, I think low A and high A are not what they used to be. And it's really not a testing ground for a college guy. You're almost better off putting a college guy in double A. But he's kind of moved through the system quick. And some guys just have it. I think this is one guy that has it. I think he's definitely going to be in their rotation next year. And you put him behind, what they got going with Crochet and Bayo and him. I mean, it's going to be a nice 3. But if you need a start, I don't think I'd be worried about a bullpen. I'd worry about putting this guy in there and letting him throw.
Are you surprised? You've seen Richard Fitz plenty. Are you surprised they went with Bernardino as the opener rather than letting Fitz start? Or do you think that's sort of a thing to maybe take a little bit of pressure off him as a starter?
I'm thinking that he might – I don't know what the lineup looks like for Baltimore yet, but if Baltimore's heavily left-handed lineup, they may want to get Bernardino through the first part of that and then come in with Fitz. And just at this point, to me, when you're playing a bullpen game, you're playing for outs. And I think that's what Cora is trying to do just with the matchups.
And obviously, with Buehler back in the bullpen now, we've seen Dustin May, a couple glimpses of him pitching well, but a couple of tough ones. There's definitely a possibility here for Tolle, right? I mean, they're probably going to make that decision fairly soon here.
And I think the other thing in their favor right now is they're down to games now, a minimal amount of games as compared to a whole season. You could pick your spots when to bring this kid up and who to match him up against and let him segue into that. So it's not I have to face this team at this time. I can really kind of massage when he's going to get in there. But I honestly think that this guy will give them the best opportunity to get a win as a starter.
All right, good stuff. I want to come back in a minute and talk about David Sandlin. We'll do that. Let's take a quick break first. It's 3:10 to left, presented by your New England Ford dealers. Back in a moment. 3:10 to left is presented by your New England Ford dealers, who've been taking everyone out to the ball game at Fenway Park for decades. Catch Ford next time you're at Fenway, including in the Ford Clubhouse, a full-service bar perfect for bringing your lineup together and for recording our live edition of 3:10 to left. It's all brought to you by your New England Ford dealers and F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 48 years and the official truck of the Boston Red Sox. All right, back here, continuing on 3:10 to left. Tom Caron, joined by J.P. Ricciardi. We have seen this time and again over the recent years and even longer, right? I think of Daniel Bard right away, a guy who was a reliever. He tried to make him a starter, didn't work out. For injury reasons, Garrett Whitlock, right, finally had to sort of nail in on a role. My role is a 1, maybe 2 inning reliever. Let's stick with that. He's been healthy. He's been great once again. Kind of going the other way with David Sandlin. Here's a starter that you're trying to get into the major league bullpen before the end of the season. It's been a struggle for him. What's been going on with Sandlin that you've seen?
Yeah, ultimately, Tom, he may end up in the pen, but right now the experiment hasn't been good. I just don't think, and from what I'm hearing around the ballpark, is he's just not comfortable in the role. And I think that's one of the things you have to worry about when you start changing guys' roles midway through the season is mentally, forget about the physical tools, but mentally, are they able to handle it? So if you think about a starter, he knows the night before he's starting. He preps like how he's going to get to the ballpark, when he's going to get to the ballpark, what his pregame routine is, how he goes to the bullpen, how he long tosses, how he takes his bullpen and then gets ready to go into the game. Now you take that away from a guy that hasn't done it, and it's a whole different mindset. There's almost this nervous energy, like, how do I get myself ready? When do I get down to the pen? When do I long toss? Do I long toss as much as I did before? Do I have to have a long pen session, a short pen session? So I think what's happened to Sandlin, it's not his stuff. It's just the command of the stuff. And I just don't think he knows how to prepare right now as a reliever.
So that might be on hold, at least as far as helping this team right now. Kyle Harrison is the other arm we've talked a lot about, a guy they got in the Devers deal. What have you seen from him?
Harrison has definitely become a better pitcher. I think they've changed a few things with him. I'm still concerned about his ability to throw a lot of strikes. He's shortened up his backside a little bit, which is going to allow him to control the ball out front a little bit more. But it's a lot to get through 5 innings in the way of pitches. And I think from that standpoint, I would be very concerned if he's ready to pitch in the big leagues. 80, 90 pitches in AAA may be getting you to 5 innings, maybe 6. But in the big leagues, with the lack of command, you might be talking about 3. So I think Harrison is a long-range project. I think he's definitely made strides. But as far as bringing him to the big leagues right now, the command would still be a question for me. I do like the fact that he uses his fastball and he likes his fastball, but the secondary stuff to me, it still needs to be tightened up. Okay, I do want to ask you back on the offensive side before we let you go. Hey, Kristian Campbell, right? I mean, kind of the forgotten guy. I remember talking to you around the time of the Devers deal, and we were talking about what he's got to fix up. The numbers have been much better of late, right? What has he changed? What's he working on? You get to see him, we don't. What's the status update on Kristian Campbell? Well, he's definitely improved, and I think it's a byproduct of him trying to hit the ball the other way a little bit more and not being so jumpy and trying to be pull crazy. I think that is going to be part of his MO anyway, is that he wants to pull the ball. It's just the way his swing works. It's the way he's built. So he has made strides. He's walking a lot. He's done a lot of things offensively that you'd like to see. I think right now he's better off finishing the year in AAA. I don't see him being a guy that can go to the big leagues and help them in the sense that he would have to play every day. He's not a guy that can be a part-time player. I think the big question with Campbell is going to be, where do you play him? And, he's played center field, he's played left, he's played first. It's not the position he's going to play. It's going to be, does the bat play? And I think the bat is still a work in progress. I think he has definitely made strides. They did the right thing by sending him down. But he, to me, needs to just finish the year in AAA and then get ready for next year.
What about Vaughn Grissom? Like, you talk about the forgotten guy, right? And they tried to sort of get it out there before the trade deadline. Well, maybe it's not going to work out here. Anybody listening? And he's still here. So what's happening with Grissom, and what's his attitude been like there when you talk to people around the club?
Well, he seems to have a really good attitude, and he's played with a good attitude, which is, really reflective of what someone's going to be, is how they show you on the field. I think in the end, he's a 25th guy. He can play third, he can play short, he can play second. He can't play him every day. He hits the ball to right field really well. He's coming into more power as he matures. He's a good player. I just don't think he's an everyday player. And he just may be a numbers crunch here where there's really no spot for him to play, and they may have to move him. But I could see him helping the club as a 25th guy. And that might have some value for some teams. And it might have some value with the Red Sox because he's going to be a minimum salaried guy that you could carry as a utility guy. And I think he's capable of sitting for 4 or 5 days and still being able to play. So he has gotten better as he's played. I just don't know what the ceiling is for him in Boston.
Interesting. And then one guy I want to bring up as well, Mikey Romero, because this guy has missed so much time, right? He's been through so much, finally gets to AAA. Where's he going to fit into this whole thing? And is it with the Red Sox? Like, what's his development as far as you can see?
It's an interesting question. I think what I like about him is he hits right-handers really well. He struggles against left-handers. That's going to be a big part of his development. Right now, he doesn't sniff them too well. And what he is doing that I do like is he's trying to hunt the fastball early against left-handers so he can kind of stay away from facing the breaking ball. But development against left-handed hitting is going to be a big part of what he becomes as a player. He could turn around a fastball from a right-hander really well. I don't know what position he plays. He's not as athletic. I think he's always had a little bit of a back issue. He can get by at second. He can get by at third. I don't think he's elite at those positions. And this is going to be an interesting one to see. I don't think they have to worry about rushing him. I think he'll spend the next year in AAA. He may be a trade possibility as well. So the development against left-handed pitching is going to go a long way to determining, how successful he is as a player.
All right, JP, we got a little less than a minute. So final question. I asked Craig Breslow this the other day. I'll ask you as a former GM. So Monday, September 1st, they're going to add 2 guys to the roster, right? Nobody wanted 40 men anymore. That was that. Is that enough? Is 28 enough? Where would you like to see? If you had your way, how much would a roster expand on September 1st?
I think it should go 5 guys. 30 guys is enough because it does a couple of things. It allows you to bring up an extra catcher. It allows you to bring up a couple of extra pitchers and this and that. But it also allows you to promote a guy that maybe you signed as a 6-year free agent and showing him a reward for coming to your AAA level, doing a good job, and he gets a chance to get rewarded by getting that 1 month in the big league. So 5 extra guys, I don't think it's a lot to carry. I think I would make it 30 guys. And I think at that point, you're rewarding guys and you're also promoting the guys that can help you.
I like that. You know what I'll do? And I first met you at a hockey rink, so I'll throw the hockey idea into it. Have scratches. Like in September, have a 30-man and you can scratch 3 guys or 2 guys if you don't want to have all on the – you'll probably be scratching starting pitchers, but at least you can sort of carry down. There's got to be a way to figure that out. But I think the next CBA, they should add that a little bit, right?
I think they're going to end up doing that now. I think they'll bring 2 guys up and then whatever depends on the series, just slide those guys down and let them keep working out and just slide 2 more guys up. It's the only way to get around it. But, 35 guys is too much, but 30 is enough.
Yeah, I like that. And I'm speaking as a guy who was a healthy scratch most of his life. That's J.P. Ricciardi. J.P., great to see you, kid. Congratulations again on the WooSox Hall of Fame. Well deserved.
All right, Tom. Thanks so much. Good seeing you.
All right, good seeing you, J.P. Ricciardi, who does such a great job of the WooSox with us. That's 310 to Left, presented by New England Ford Dealers. We'll see you again next time.